So making money or millions of dollars is actually extremely easy. Because you most likely clicked on this video because you want to learn how to make money online or escape your 9-to-5 and just become an online entrepreneur essentially. I made millions of dollars in 3 different industries. I made millions of dollars as a coach, consultant, selling my time. I made more than $1 million as an affiliate, close to 2 now I think, if not more than that. And I've also made multiple millions of dollars selling information, right? And you and I are exactly the same. And me and a billionaire were also exactly the same, except this, the IP, the intellectual property that we have between our ears and inside of our brain, right? So you can learn how to make millions. And it's actually not that hard. When I look back on my journey, I was like, it wasn't actually not that hard. And I could have made a lot more money, a lot more faster if I learned some of these things that I will tell you about in this video today. And if you don't have, I don't know how long this video is gonna be, 10, 15, 20 minutes, to invest into yourself, to learn some of these concepts that I'm gonna teach you today, you might as well just give up right now and just go and play some games for the rest of your life or something like that, right? Because what I'm sharing with you in this video today is real stuff, and it helped me to make millions. So if you want to improve your brain and your IP and level up to make money, then listen up and let's dive into it, right? So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna share a few different concepts today that help me to make millions pretty quick. And if you implement this, it can help you tremendously. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the 3 levels of wealth, right? And you can think about this as a pyramid like this, right? We basically have 3 levels. And level number 1 is basically just to get your first $100,000, right? If you want to make $100,000 as quickly as humanly possible so that you can escape your job, get some time, money, location freedom, to maybe you want to pay some to your parents or you have kids, whatever it is, right? If you just want to get your first 100K per year, let's say, what you do is that you sell your time as a coach or a consultant or basically selling a service, right? And there's pros and cons with all of this. You can go directly to level 2 if you want to, but level 1, that's how I got started as well. It's just that you learn a skill and you start to sell your time. For example, what I did was that I started a marketing agency and I started to sell Facebook ads to roofing and solar contractors, right? The pro with this is that you can basically start immediately and make good money from it because there's always people who want to pay for your skill, right? If you learn a skill. The downside with this though is that it's not scalable. When you make a sell, right, it's almost like the people that pay you, they feel like they own you in a way. They feel like they can call you in the middle of the night and get you to do stuff because they're paying for your time, right? And also when you get 20, 25, 30 clients doing this and they pay you, 2 to 3 to 4 to 5K per month, it becomes tough to scale. And you're constantly on calls, you're constantly doing service delivery, and it's just tough. And like running like an agency, selling your time is one of the most stressful businesses you can run. Also trading is like crazy, right? I've heard. I haven't done too much day trading myself at all, but like running an agency in trading is like some of the most stressed out entrepreneurs, right? The second level is to go to $1 million, right? And what you do to get to $1 million is now you start to leverage systems, right? And also you improve your model. You can also use like funnels. Because when you sell your time, all you need is an email. You can just reach out to people, right? You can start to get clients. If you want to get to $1 million, you need to start using some types of systems. And also what I highly recommend to do here is to change out the model, right? You can take this model to $1 million as well. But if you want to go to 2, 3, 4 mil a year, like it's a lot easier to do that by changing the model. That's what I did, right? I moved from selling my time to instead using a model that's a lot more scalable, which is selling information. If you look at basically all of the big creators and entrepreneurs online today, like what do they sell? They sell information, essentially. It's a huge industry and it's booming like never before. Pretty much all of the YouTubers that you see that sell stuff, they sell information. They have a course, they have a program that they're selling, right? And you can also start using systems here as well. You can start to leverage software. You can start to leverage funnels as well, right? Instead of jumping on calls every single time you need to make a sale, you can now have automations and a funnel that makes the sale for you. You can start to leverage a YouTube channel, right? You can start to leverage free groups and communities. You can build free courses. You can start to build systems to do the selling for you. And it's actually a lot easier than it sounds. A lot of people, they start here because they don't think that they can do this. I actually regret that I didn't start doing this a lot quicker. And just for context, last year I started this, a new business from scratch. And I made 2 million in like under 12 months, like 11 and a half months. And I made a bit over $2 million. And it wasn't that hard, honestly. Like I worked super hard and I figured things out, but like I really didn't know what I was doing. But I had a great model, I had great systems in place, and I had something to sell that people wanted. And I made $2 million within the first year by doing that, right? And then the second step, which is 10 mil, right, per year. I haven't done 10 mil per year, but the way you get to 10 mil per year, because I've listened to billionaires and I know some people are doing this as well, right? What you do this, how you get there is basically more systems and all of that, but also hiring, basically people, right? You start to hire people, building systems with people, and that's how you can take it to 10 mil and beyond, right? And the cool thing about this, like the top of the wealth triangle here, is if you can build a company that's making a lot of money with people who don't really have any skills, now you're crushing it, right? I had a talk with a very good entrepreneur called Daniel Iles, and he told me a story about McDonald's, right? When he was like 17, 18, he worked at McDonald's. He had no skills, no nothing. He was running this McDonald's store with like 5 or 8 friends, or like 8 other people. I don't know how many people are in a McDonald's restaurant, but let's say 8 people. They were 8 people being like 18 years old, not knowing anything about business, not knowing anything about anything, just like flipping burgers. And they made like $300,000 per day, right? 8 people not knowing anything about business making $300,000 per day. How is that possible, right? Because McDonald's had systems in place and had a great funnel in place and a great product in place. Everything was so systemized that they could just use 18-year-olds and pay them like minimum wage, and they didn't have to have any type of skills, and they could crank out $300,000 per day. That's insane. That's kind of how you get to the tens of millions or hundreds of millions and just make a shit ton of money by just like systems and using people. And if you have a business that's dependent upon super smart people all the time, that's going to be hard. So how can you like make it easy to run the business and still make a lot of money, right? So this is the wealth triangle. That's the first concept I wanted to talk about, right? The next thing I want to talk about is about focus, and not the focus that you think, by the way. And this is something that took me a long time to figure out, and it's something that a lot of people are struggling with. Most likely you're struggling with this as well, right? So focus, let's see if I can spell as well. Like focus is saying no, right? So what do I mean by that? Before you click off this video and start watching some other useless stuff, let me break this down for you, right? The first thing is this, that essentialism is power. So what do I mean by that? Well, there's a great book, this book right here, that's called Essentialism. Highly recommend that you read it. But I can just tell you what this book is about in a couple of minutes, right? Let's say this is you, right? And every single day when you wake up, you have energy, right? And you're putting your time into different things. You are like, I don't know, you're watching Netflix. You are hanging out with friends. You are, I don't know, spending time with friends and with family. You are also, I don't know, going to the gym. You're also scrolling social media. You're also doing this. You're also doing this, right? You're spending your time and energy on a bunch of different things, right? And this can be, you can put in whatever you want there. Maybe you're in your business, you're checking your email you're checking your ads, and you have meetings, you're like whatever it is, right? You're spending your time on different things. And essentialism, basically what essentialism tells us to do is that we remove all of these small arrows, right? And instead is that you start to stack them on top of each other, right? So you can use the exact same amount of energy. So we had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do another one here then. 8, right? So essentialism is power, and focus is saying no. So you say no to everything else and put everything into one thing, right? And you're gonna progress so much faster by doing this. And this took me a long time to figure out. And this is something like that most of us are super bad at. Basically managing our time and creating discipline and systems in our life, and also knowing where our time goes. I know some masterminds where people pay tens of thousands of dollars to attend, where entrepreneurs come, we're making millions of dollars per year, and they're spending like 40 grand on this mastermind. And what they do is basically this. They get the exercise to basically plan out their day, create a daily schedule. When do you go to bed? When do you wake up? And what do you do in between, right? And then being efficient with your time as well. Like a lot of people feel like they're working because they're checking their email inbox 100 times per day, but they're not really getting anything done, right? So essentialism is power. The next thing, what you want to do with this then, is that you want to cut distractions, right? And this can be anything and everything. Simple one, like take your phone and put it in a drawer someplace else. Turn off all of your notifications. I never get notifications. Like people can't like almost reach me. Even like my friends and family, they have to call me twice, because if they call once, they go to the voicemail. So only the people close to me knows. They have to call me twice, because if they don't, like the signal is not even gonna get forward, right? Or I'm not even gonna hear it. And even if the signal goes, if they can't call me, I have it on quiet anyways, and I have it somewhere else. So I'm most likely not even gonna hear that they're calling. And the reason why is because if you're if you're focused on something, if you're in deep work, right? If you're dialed in on something, if you're in the zone creating stuff, and somebody comes and taps you on the shoulder or opens up your door and says, "Hey Max," right? You're basically out of that zone, and it's gonna take like 15 to 25 minutes to get back into that focus zone again. So if you're constantly getting distracted over and over and over again all the time by your phone, by people around you, something in your environment, like it's people, like it's so bad. It's so bad. So cutting distractions is huge. Like focus is saying no. Say no to everything else that doesn't serve you and your goal, and also cut out all the distractions. That's why you see people like successful entrepreneurs. Like I saw a video from Hormozy recently where he showed us like his workspace. It's like in like a wardrobe. It's like no windows, it's pitch black, it's his screen, and he has like, you know, blocking out his noise. That's why I have these ones in my ear, by the way. You might be noticing, because I have the noise cancelling on. I'm so used to having the noise cancelling on, because as soon as something distracts me, I can be off. I hear the neighbor walking outside, or like a cat, I don't know. It can be anything. That's why I'm so used to have this on, because I don't want to hear anything. I just want to do the thing that I'm currently doing, right? So cut out distractions. And then the third thing is just to go all in on what matters. This is huge. This is also huge. Like go all in on what matters, right? Because if you want to make money, right, and you want to start a business, you will have to like identify a bunch of stuff that you can't do anymore. And I like to call this that to make money, you basically have to become boring in a way. That's my experience, right? Because if you want to figure this out, right, and make money and make millions and start a business and all of that, you will have to cut away all of this stuff, right? Which means no more going out with your friends anymore, as much. No more partying. No more game nights anymore, of that game you like to play with your friends for like 6 hours every single night. No more, I don't know, going to the gym for 3 hours every day. Like, you have to put all of that into this thing that you're trying to do, right? So go all in what matters. If you want to build a business and do this thing, and you want to build a future for yourself and make more money to give back to your parents or friends and family or kids or whatever it is, you have to go on all in on what matters. So what is mattering to you, cut everything out. And yeah, that's basically what I want to cover with this concept number 2, which is focus is basically saying no, right? And yeah, this is not necessarily, it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy, right? Going to the gym is super simple. You go to the gym. Well, like getting jacked is very simple, right? You just go to the gym, you eat good food, you track your food, and you sleep and you rest. So it's super simple. It's not necessarily easy though, right? It's the same thing with this. And I'm not claiming to be the best in the world at this or anything like that, but like making money is actually simple. It's actually very simple. You just need to identify what you need to do, and then you do that. And then you level up your brain all the time by listening to people who are ahead of you, and you just continue to take action, right? Concept number 3 is this, that growth is slow until it's not. So what do I mean by that? Well, the first mentor I ever got, he taught me this. So he said, like, Max, making money online or starting a business, you can think of it as a hill, like this, right? And you're basically here, right? You start here, not having a single idea of what you should do. Then you identify a model or something that you can do, and that's like a stone. So you're like, okay, and this is the money stone right here, right? This is the money stone. So then what you start doing is that you start pushing this stone, right, up the hill, and here's you trying to push this thing, right? So what I mean by that growth is slow until it's not. In the beginning, it feels like you're putting in so much time and energy on pushing this stone up the hill, and it sucks. Everything is hard, you're not understanding anything, everything seems very abstract. You're listening to this video and you're like, yeah, like this is cool and all, but like I can't connect the dots. It's like, what do I do? What do I actually do to make the money thing, right? And if you're thinking that, I got you. And I'm not trying to sell you anything in this video, by the way. I have a free resource I'm gonna give to you if you wanna learn exactly how to make money. But you're putting so much time and energy and effort into this, and you get nothing back, right? But then it starts to become a little bit easier. So you get the stone here, right? And eventually, it actually works. And you start to make some money. And then what happens is that the stone starts to go super fast downhill, right? And money is coming faster than you ever thought possible. And you're not really doing anything anymore. You're just like, how can I make so much money right now? And it feels like I'm not really doing anything anymore. Like, where was this money? Like, here I was putting in so much time and energy and effort, I didn't make anything, and now it feels like I'm not doing that much, and money is just flowing to me, right? And this is exactly what it's like, especially in the beginning. It feels like it's hard and tough because you're putting in so much time, energy, and effort, and you're investing money to learn and all of this, and everything feels so vague. But then once you get the stone up the hill, it starts coming faster than you ever thought possible. And if you can just stay consistent enough to get the stone up here, you'll be good, right? And most people quit right here. Most people quit here. They quit, right? So really the secret is just like staying consistent even when it feels like nothing is happening, right? And the real money comes here when things starts to compound, essentially, right? That is that. And then as a little final bonus thing, I want to share a concept that I really like that helped me a lot. And it's a mistake that I've been taking I don't know how many times. And that is something that I like to call how to win by default. Because it is possible to make money and how to win by default. and I'm gonna show you how. So here's the thing. What most people do when they start out, including myself, and maybe has been you up until this point as well, is that you're here, right? You're super happy. And you have now identified that you want to make money, right? You want to start a business, you want to make money, you want to make millions of dollars, so you can buy the thing or whatever it is, right? Escape your day job and travel somewhere or whatever it is. So then what you do is that you listen to somebody on the internet that tells you to, you should start e-commerce, let's say, right? All right, so you're like, e-com, that's it. That's the thing. I know that this is gonna make me millions of dollars because I see this other dude doing it, or girl, and now I can learn from that person, right? Then, from that, once you get that idea, you basically start, right? And here you're like pumped up to the teeth, like you start to create a business logo, a website, you start to look for a product, you start to like create your store with Shopify or whatever it is, and you're feeling great. But then what happens is that you're starting to figure out that this thing is actually pretty hard. Right? Like customers are not coming as quickly as you thought. You spend a bunch of money to this product that you thought would make you super rich, and you're like, this enthusiasm is gone now, right? You're like, this is actually pretty hard. And then you start to think this, maybe it's easier if I do this thing, right? Which is, let's say, I don't know, starting an agency. Maybe this is easier, right? And now you feel pumped up again, right? See if I can do a smiley here. Now you're pumped up again. And then you start that, right? Right, so you start this. And then from here, you realize that this is also pretty hard. And then you're like, maybe it's easier if I do this thing, which is affiliate. I'm sure you get the point. This is how everybody is doing it. It's called the shiny object syndrome, right? You're constantly doing new things. Maybe it's easier if I do this thing. And then you start that, and you're pumped up, you start logo and business again, and then you realize that this is also pretty hard. Maybe it's easier if I do this thing, and then it's so it goes, right? So the way you win by default is, instead of chasing new things all the time, right? You just stick to it, right? You stick to it. You try again, right? So you get some teeth, and you continue until it works. So the way you win by default is knowing that most other people out there, they're gonna quit. They're gonna go to some other thing. And it's gonna be hard for everybody, right? So as long as you can just stick to it, get some teeth, right? Get some grinding teeth here, and just cram your heels in and just like do it anyways, you will come out the other way and you will make money. Because all different business models work, and they're all hard. They all have pros and cons, right? So what I want to leave you with is that I have a 100% free course here on my YouTube channel that I don't charge $1 for, that will teach you exactly how I made over $2 million last year with a brand new business. And again, it's free. I'm not selling you anything here. So if you want to check that out, you'll find a link in the description or in the pinned comment or whatever. Go and check that video out, and I will show you for free how I make my money. And then you can see if that's something you want to do as well. So that's it. See you there.